This dude like 6, bro. He like 60 something, bro.
Right.
He like 60. He like 60 something. And I'm saying this. Like I felt so bad. I felt like I was disrespecting that man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, bro, you're not about to tell me Reggie Miller is in that third. Like, man, you like, bro. No, it didn't say.
Reggie's problem was Reggie needed somebody better than him on the team.
Yeah. Man, dog,
if Reggie had been the second best player on the team, you would have had one. You would have had something.
2005 was Reggie's year until the Malice.
I tell people that
lined up perfect.
They were
perfect for him.
That Pacers team was going to line the league up.
Because I can tell you this right now. That season, I went in saying that Jermaine O'Neal was going to be MVP because Jermaine O'Neal was looking real Kevin Garnett-ish. He was looking real KG-ish. Yeah. Think about that time. Think about that time period of them power forwards. Tim, KG, Webb, Jermaine, Dirk,
Murderers Row,
Wallace.
C. Webb, McDice,
Steven Jackson, Artest, Tinsley, and then the old dog as the finisher.
And they all complimented him perfectly for his area of career at where he was
Absolutely.
at. Not to say he was the best defender anyway, but we knew he wasn't going to be able to check anything. Everybody around him could guard and check up. Everyone.
And they had the Davis boys.
Yeah.
That team was ready. That Malice messed it all up. One decision.
You had J.O. Artest and Ron Artest do the heavy lifting. Reggie, you play 25 tonight. 25.
Mm-hmm. Man, you know what? It ain't too many times I get to run this point guard thing, but as y'all see, it's just us being us, man. This is 94 feet of life, man. Got the original point guard, Big Shot. Got Worldwide with us. We got MJ with us, man. Hey, I don't care who started off, man. Let these folks know what's going on, man. Let these folks know what we're going to do.
So
man.
What y'all going to get a taste of tonight is this is truly just us talking the game. Now, New Orleans and Dallas is on. So we're going to talk a little bit about the first week of the season. We try not to, you know how we do. We don't go too crazy on hot takes because it's 3 games played, right?
Right.
So y'all gonna get a mix of everything. As y'all just heard us talk about the Malice and the Palace Pacers on the cold opening. We got our main man, Coach Les, in the building. Coach Les looking like Kendall Gill on draft night with the Charlotte.
Well, I had to, it's like I said, it's us being us, and I told you guys the backstory on the hat, It's Larry Johnson, my first draft, man. First draft I watched, man. So
and then we got the most interesting man in 94 feet of life right now.
Still Justin, this dude.
Man, forget all that. Coach MJ taking selfies with Greg Popovich. I'll tell y'all something. Sean Elliott ain't been that close to Greg Popovich in the last. MJ, what's happening with it, man?
Hey, you know what? It's funny because I was reading an article about, media reporters saying that, guys who played for they shouldn't do podcasts because they're going to have just kind of a partialness in which there are certain levels that they won't go. And at first, man, that's kind of BS. But after I met Greg Popovich, it's certain areas I don't want to go anymore when it comes to the Spurs. So I get it now. I get it. And it ain't had nothing. He didn't do anything but be himself. Like his first words to me when he looked at me was like, "Who are these people with you?" And he looked dead at me like, who is this guy? And, the head coach said, "This is my assistant coaching staff." And he immediately just lit up because he was like, "Ooh, somebody else I get to talk basketball with." And then, people was trying to interrupt him. He's like, hey, don't you see I'm talking to my friends here? I'm like, I've made it. I'm Greg Popovich friend right now. We made it. Like
that might put you as a priority, man. I can't.
That's love. That's love. That's real though. That's authentic, man. Real like stuff. When you hear him talk, like that's him.
Yeah,
that's exactly who he is. What y'all see on the press conference, unapologetic, 100%, and the fact that he's from the region, that's pretty much how all of us act.
Yeah.
We love y'all, but we don't say what the fuck is on our mind.
Right. And that's what we do here on 90 Feet of Life, man. Trav introduced us. Trav, what's going on, man?
Oh, man. Like you said, man, the overreactions of the 3 games, man. Hey, I love it. Continue to do it. It's gonna be better. It's gonna be better. Hopefully it'll be better later. But overall, man, it's that time of the year when Christmas has came early, sports-wise. Yeah. So,
next Tuesday, November 1st, the college preview.
Right.
The governor, Agent G, will be here with Greg Jones. But Phil, let's talk about the first week. So, I'm not going to talk about a certain team because I said I'm not watching them probably until at least March. So so y'all can have that. I'll put myself on mute if y'all want to talk about them.
I'm not talking about that either.
But what I do want to discuss again, we know y'all, it's early. We get it. MJ said something about 2-3 years ago at the gig, and he was like, man, opportunity is everything, right? And it's a couple guys early in the season who opportunity, you look at the numbers again, yes, early. I look at Lauri Markkanens of the world. I look at a guy like Christian Wood at Dallas. Someone early, like, oh, okay. So that's to me what the first week has been about, fellas. Guys who we probably have never talked about on this show. Early in the season, you like, oh, well then. So who were some of y'all early surprises, Trav? You got your hand up. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go get out the way, man.
Yes,
Anthony Simmons, man.
Yep.
Ooh. And this ain't and here's the thing. Within those 3 games, he's been putting in work.
Oh yeah.
Chauncey warned y'all. Chauncey Billups warned y'all. If y'all watch all the smoke? He warned y'all about dude. He said he there. He's ready. And last night before last? Oh shit.
Hey, you know what though? For them to trade CJ, they had to have full confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
He was ready.
He showed glitches.
Yeah, for them to trade CJ, that had to. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go Benedict Mathurin. I got a chance to see him live. And first and foremost, it's seldom that any rookie, that's not the number 1 overall pick talk as greasy as he talked before the season even start. You gotta know something that most people don't know to say some of the stuff that he said. And it wasn't disrespectful. It was actually what all hoopers really should say and think. But just hearing it, you just like, nah, this just don't sound right coming out of your mouth. You feel me? Like when he was just saying like, LeBron got to show me, we just like, who are you? Right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that, Tyrese Halliburton, incredible point guard, what y'all got to understand about him is he is a true point guard. So even though he could possibly give you 40, he's not wired to do that. He's wired to get everybody involved. He's going to end up with his 20s, maybe high 30s, depending on how long he plays. He's going to have his double-digit assists, and he's going to run the show, which means in order for them to be able to make a next step, he needs a certified killer. Mathurin is coming in on that business. Like, he actually shot the last second shot. It was a bad shot, but the fact that he wanted that smoke, so early. I'm like, oh, you know, we ain't seen the Arizona wing. Let's be real. We ain't seen a wing come out of Arizona that really was like that since what? Sean Elliott? Like, let's keep it above. RJ was solid. I'm sorry. RJ was solid. But he actually is on some this is my team type stuff. And, you know, we don't do all that. You just want to be able to have a guy that young to want that type of energy. Because now you could build around him and Tyrese, and that could turn into something that nobody wants to see. Because every time we're looking around all these backcourts. Every backcourt is looking really nasty.
Yeah, it is some super backcourts.
Man.
Spicy.
I've had the privilege of watching.
Ain't no days off, man. Go to Orlando if you want to on BS.
I'm down.
I'm actually going next Saturday to the Magic game when they play the team.
Speaking of the Magic, Paolo out the gate, 25, 5-5 the first 3 games.
Work. Work.
I'm actually going to see him in person with some. It's gonna be some night. They play the Kings, so they get the, early, rookie of the year implications between him and Keegan Murray.
Nice.
But mine isn't a surprise. It's more of a like I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with the Boston Celtics. And this is why. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Now, if you told me they lost one of them for the season, I'd be, but no disrespect to Iman. He did a great job. Because you did a great job. But I also know that that coaching staff put a lot of work in. I'll tell you that, and you guys, we'll talk how we talk, and I'll let you know some things.
Right.
But I just know that you can't be. How can I put it? Like I'm not shocked with the Boston Celtics. Okay. I'm not saying they're gonna go back to the finals. I'm not saying I'm not saying any of that right now because we talked about the East, but in our preview show. But I'm not Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. As long as those two, as long as you got J and J, you're okay. It's gonna be a good day.
Hard. I tell you, Jaylen Brown. I remember this in the old days of 94 Feet. Y'all can go back and do your group search and search the post. Jaylen Brown's offense, I thought when he came into the league, I'm like, I don't know if he's going to ever be able to score effectively. Where his offense has come from the last 3 years, from what it was to what it is now, is incredible. He is damn near, to me, as good as Tatum is as a scorer. Like, it's really close.
Oh, and I think he's more efficient because Jay Tatum, to me, watching their games, right? Jaylen is a slow kill. Boom, boom. Jab, jab, body, body. Jab, jab, body, 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 body. Jay Tatum, like, boom, boom, boom. He coming out swinging. Right. And the thing about it is he hit a lot of those shots. Jason Tatum makes some tough shots.
Yeah.
It looks good though. They're tough for a lot of guys, but he can make those sidestep, falling out of bounds, fade away, 17-footers. Like they look good. But at the end of the day, he'll have 26 and JB sitting over there with 25. And JT is probably 11 for about 24, and JB sitting over there 9 for 17, 3 for 5 from the 3-point line, and you look up like, but I'm just saying, and big pause on this one. JT's look a little bit more sexy. Paul.
Yeah, that's what it's all. But to me, that's what it's always.
And JB, JB is like, I'm getting shit done over here. Right. It's real work over here, but y'all don't want that. Y'all,
One thing about JB that stood out to me, even from high school going to where he decided to go to school, I knew he was going to be okay because he has certain things that you don't look for in a basketball player that you should look for in a basketball player, but it's so rare that you don't. This dude, is really smart. Like, he went to Cal and he wasn't taking no random garbage classes. He was he's a deep thinker. So when you're a deep thinker, you look at this game, you're going to eventually look at this game from a deep thinking perspective. And when you do that, ain't nobody going to be able to hold you once you figure it out. So I knew eventually he was going to figure it out because he's just so smart. It's seldom that we look at things of that nature because, again, it's rare. Usually when we look at for IQ, we look at for IQ on the court. But this dude has an IQ just away from basketball. He's just a really smart dude. Spencer Dinwiddie is another one of those guys. He's just a really smart dude. And it's not a secret that both of them can score the hell out of the ball at ease because they're not just using their skill set, they're using their mind. I know I'm going to get here, and I know he's going to jump because I just made 2 in a row. Let me get to this foul line. They're playing a different game.
Yeah. Trav, you got another team or player for the surprise of the first week, or just any observation?
My backcourt that I've been keeping a look eye, well, not a look eye, actually, they kind of it's whoa, these young guys here fresh. That's Jaden Ivory and Cade Cunningham.
They up next, man. That's 6'8" and 6'5", just length. They getting out. They athletic. They long. They one dribble. I'm here.
They there. They right there. I think the Pistons are going the right direction in how they building their team. Can they always get one more? Sure. Everybody can use one more player, but I think this backcourt right here, I think they're going to get something going. If it's not this year, it's going to definitely be next year.
Yeah. Need some season.
I tell you who I like now. The issue I have with them is that I think that team is just too young. But if they can when basketball and life maturity in, Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr., they can just mature. Because you watch them play, and it's a lot to work with. It's a whole bunch of stuff that you I can work with that. It's just going to be a matter of, they need that Jarrett Jack type third guard, the Mo Williams type third guard, somebody who could just settle down. Because they a little erratic, but boy, they can. But when they can go,
be perfect on that team. But
I'm hoping it's Ty Washington. Yeah. I know he's young, but I'm hoping it's Ty that can be the calm. Because just his demeanor.
Yeah.
Right? His demeanor. He's a young dude, but he's a young, old soul.
Mm-hmm.
He's 19, but he really 37. He's just hey man, it's gonna be all right, And the thing that if they can figure it out, I agree with you. If those guys can figure it out in a place like Houston with Jabari Smith.
Yeah.
Man, I'm about to get the fight the other day, man.
Right. And then you look at it.
They care, though. They care.
They care.
But y'all just have to, they just need, all right.
And I'm gonna give you one more. One more backcourt.
Y'all ready to do a top 10 backcourt? Go ahead, Trav. Just put
I'm gonna give that one. It may be about that time though, but I got to the bullies in Memphis, man.
Yeah.
That's some they don't dude. Hill activity is not something that we made up. It need to be trademarked in 94 Feet of Light. It need to be trademarked because I promise you, that's all they doing. They getting buckets. They're gonna talk crazy to you, and they're gonna get more buckets.
Yeah.
Desmond Bane. You talk about
Marcus Stokes.
You talk about a draft steal. Last pick of the first round. Who was another guy who was last pick of the first round? Jimmy Butler.
Jordan Poole.
And Jordan Poole. Desmond Bane is already at that point. I'm not saying he's going to be Jimmy Butler part 2 before y'all try to flip it up. But he's really good at the stuff that he asked to do for Memphis. He's good at it. Like he averages 18. He's going to defend. He kind of like Klay Thompson with bigger shoulders.
That's a big.
Hey, y'all remember that trade that I said that Memphis? Everybody's saying I was crazy. I was like, right now y'all should trade Dylan Brooks with Gary Trent. Imagine Gary Trent on that team with Desmond Bane and John Morant. No knock on Dylan, though. But just imagine that right now.
That's a bully backcourt, man. That's a bully backcourt.
Yeah.
Now you really can't help. You can't help at all now. Like I've seen Ja, these are games this year. I've seen Ja throw it to Dylan and they ain't even close it out. It's not that
why?
I will live with that than anything else on that floor. That's all I'm saying. Put Gary Trent there. You can't live with that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Gary will give you 50 if you leave him open like that. That's shooting practice. That's target practice. That's the gun range right there. That's easy.
Gun line ball.
Another surprise, though. I would say the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
They're 4-0 right now. They're 4-0 right now. Dame is back, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the preview show, I said, hey, I like to see Dame go get with somebody else. But Dame being Dame, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Because I want to see Dame win. That my own personal preference. I want to see Dame win one. Because I think he's all about the right stuff, But this game ain't fair. So it don't matter. But I think they go to the playoffs. I see Portland as a playoff team right now.
Yeah.
I think Chauncey was able to get through that first year. He was able to get through that first year and figure it out and, start to understand who he is as a head coach. And you got Dame out and you get some pieces. And I mean, Dame, Anthony Simmons, Jeremy Grant. That's formidable. That's a formidable trio. That's really Grant was almost an all-star with the Pistons last year.
Right.
Like, that's a very – and he guards. I mean, yeah.
And Nurkic, Nurkic is probably the most underrated big we have.
Nurkic
is really freaking good. Like, imagine Denver had both of those on the same. And then also imagine the Bulls drafted him and traded him for McDermott. I won't. Never mind. I'm sorry. But Nurkic can hoop. Like, the thing about it is, and I'm going to get this to Ronnie, but I got to say this. Since the NBA has really adapted the Euro game and the zone and all of that, it's still going to always have the NBA flavor to it. But now the same way that you need to win in college and even high school is now the same way you got to win in the NBA. It's going to be guard play. It's going to be no turnovers, and it's going to be free throws. Look at the teams where the guard play is not necessarily on the same page yet, or it's just not that good. And look what their record is.
Mm-hmm.
Versus look at the teams that we're talking about that guard play. We like, this is underrated, but look at them. Look where their record is. And even if it's guys that you probably don't know the names of, now we look at the coaching and the system of it. The coaching is like the sprinkle on top because you still need the personnel, but, just watching Rick Carlisle and Greg Popovich battle in what I thought was just going to be a stale game, it's exciting because they both had the weapons they needed to execute what they was trying to execute. And it looked incredible because they're constantly running stuff and moving and getting players to move and getting the shot that they want and constantly just keep nailing it. This is a simple game. It's always going to be a simple game. We make it more complicated when it has to be, mainly because we have seen guys who physically and just have certain gifts to where they can take over the game just off gifts alone. But what we also seen win titles is a team of 11, 12 guys who really know how to hoop.
Yeah. You talk about Nurkic and the team that he used to be on, which leads me to, it's not a surprise, but I'm going to say this. Jokic is one of the greatest passes I've ever seen. And I ain't talking big man passes. I'm talking about passes of the ball, period.
Dude, he's gifted. He's gifted. He's freaking
watching
gifted.
him catch that thing in the high post, face up, survey the scene, and just drop it on time.
Every time.
Guys don't even have to dribble. You just put it right where you just put it right in your pocket. And I think because Jamal Murray is still kind of getting back into flow, Jokic is going to get more of the playmaking duty. I think Jokic is going to throw up an Oscar for this.
Wouldn't doubt it.
I think it's going. He's incredible, and I know we always talk about we talk about basketball bias. He don't look a certain way. He ain't running fast. He ain't jumping high, but man, he's something else, man.
Big shot. These what ESPN top 5 or whoever they named the top 5, don't now one of them look a certain don't have a basketball build.
Nope.
The top 5 does not have a basketball build. You look at Jokic, he just look like he lift kegs of beer. Doncic, same way. Don't look it. Greek Freak, he just length everywhere. Don't take number 2 steps. He from the half court to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Steph. Steph is the babyface assassin, man. I mean, they just don't. I mean, they just don't. They look apart, but hey, what dudes say? You fuck with me and fuck around and fuck over
and find out.
Find out. They on that team.
Oh,
they on that team. You 10 this way, 10 down. You gonna figure it out.
Or actually, you ain't. That's the reason why they keep killing you.
But it'd be too late though. I mean, you figure out it's gonna be late.
This is what makes those guys so special. It's like they can take what they want and they can take what you give them. Mm-hmm. When Jokic took his step is when he actually really became a knockdown shooter. It was over for everybody. Because at first you'll give that up in the name of him not picking you apart in your passing. But once he started shooting about 38% from 3, it's like, damn, you got to worry about that. When he started putting up 30 a game, hey, this is something. Hey, now he's beating you with scoring. So if he's beating you with scoring,
and that was my thing with no great way to play him, like, but that was my thing. I'm like, I'm just not gonna let him just dime me to death, make him score, and then you write him, Jay. If he come out like, all right, y'all not gonna let me dime you up tonight. So now you're gonna take this 40 and 15.
Yep. Exactly.
Efficient 40 and 15 too.
Dude, what it'd be like 12 or 15.
Yeah.
He went to the free throw line with 13 or 14 at the free throw line.
What we're seeing this season, Ron, is basketball pure rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're seeing. Because the game has gotten too good now. The game has gotten too good. And when something gets too good, there has to be something that is separating the good from the great from the elite. There has to be something. It's no longer just about, okay, he could jump high. Okay, he could go left. He could go right. He could finish. He could score. He can run. Everybody can do that shit. Like everybody that has a jersey right now in the NBA can do those things. So now what's separating? What's separating it is guys being able to see a little bit more of that game than other guys.
Yeah.
That's what's separating. And the most important thing is those guys getting the perfect pieces around them to make them be what they're supposed to be. That's the real thing. What makes Denver good and what makes Denver possibly scary, we kept saying the same thing. If they could just get a wing, if they could just get a score. They had it, they just weren't. They were injured. Mm-hmm. Michael Porter Jr. could be a 20-plus scorer in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's what Bubble Jamal Murray was capable of. He actually don't need anything. They just need to be healthy.
That's all. That's all Denver needs.
Porter gives them a 20. And then what that does is now Aaron Gordon becomes your Sean Marion.
Mm-hmm.
Run the floor, get it off the glass, run the floor, knock down the open jumper, defend the best player.
I need him to watch Andrew Wiggins game 5 and game 6.
Yep.
Watch them 2 games. If he watched them 2 games and he take on that role, Aaron Gordon can be he got the athleticism to do it. He got the size. He got everything that can be somewhere like he can get paid. If he ain't already paid, he can get paid some more.
Yeah. He can very easily do the Andrew Wiggins, Sean Marion role. And as MJ talked about, you got you got the sun, like the universe. You know, you got the universe, the planets all revolve around the sun. Jokic. Yeah. Y'all revolve around
him. Revolve around him.
And it is. Now, I'm going to tell you, now we talk about early season surprises. We try to keep it positive, but we got to talk about some of the negative.
We will. Yeah.
So let's get to it. I'm going to start with
Brooklyn Nets.
It ain't even Brooklyn, because I thought Brooklyn was going to struggle. Because I think in Ben Simmons, in getting him back, that's going to take a while.
I think I know.
But what's happening in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
I just said it.
I don't see how you've got, and I get it. We talked about this off camera, Trav. You could jump back, whoever jump in. James Harden plays a certain way. Okay. But to me, when you've got, for me, big man out the way, I think on his day, Joel Embiid is the second best offensive player in the league after Kevin Durant. And I saw 16 shots one night. I saw 14 shots another night. And it ain't no way that Joel Embiid should get less than 20 shots every night. It should never happen. Joel Embiid, for me, and y'all jump in, you know who should be leading the league in field goal attempts? Him.
Yeah.
Easily.
Joel is the new Shaq. We've been waiting. We've been waiting. We've been waiting. He is that. We have been waiting for another. We've been waiting for another
night against Boston, and I counted it because I'm trying to be more lavish like MJ and Ham.
My man.
I counted 5 possessions in a row. 5 with no shot. Never should happen. He should never go 5 possessions in a row without a shot. So if you talk about what is disturbing me early, it's that. That's disturbing to me.
Yes.
Let's stay on Philly because I think we all disturbed on that. Trav, you want to go or shall I?
You can go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. I see a locker room that's finally just gave up on their coach. That's what I see. And Doc is trying his best to just keep certain players to believe in him, so in hopes it could trickle down. This is why I think James Harden gets to dribble it and do whatever he wants, because if James Harden is on his side, him and Embiid are, the pretty much the franchise guys, and they're going to have the most say-so out of the players' locker room. So I think he's trying to give James Harden a lot of that, autonomy and a lot of that freedom to win him over in hopes to keep this locker room. That's the only explanation that I have. I think Joel Embiid been on the fence about Doc for, a couple of years. I think he's been on the fence because he used Joel Embiid different ways every season. Now you get no continuity. If I don't know how you're going to use me throughout a season, it's really tough for me to build a relationship with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, even better, we got a guy by the name of Tyrese Maxey who is coming into his own. So now you got to figure that out because this dude ain't waiting his turn, as he shouldn't. He's put in the work. He is a borderline all-star guard too. That's what I'm saying. It's murderer's row at that position. You got to see. You're going to have to see somebody no matter where you go. But, I think the Tobias Harris situation, I think he could just use a change of scenery. It's just time. It's not that he's doing anything wrong. He just needs to change the scenery.
Where do you go get, though? What do you go get if you're giving up Tobias? Like, what are you getting? What are you adding?
If we're going to go all in on this, it sucks. But if we're going to go all in on this, we need a true stretch for Embiid. Somebody that can literally just be a knockdown shooter and guard. Tobias, that's not his game. He can make the three, but he's a versatile player. He needs to, get touched to show his versatility.
You got PJ. You brought in PJ.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you got a corner 3 and D specialist.
Yep.
Right? You got Reese. You got Hudo.
You gonna make me go in the lab.
Who is really out there right now that somebody would be willing to give up for the money that Tobias is making? Because it's going to be a haul, huh?
That's the thing. Money.
It's going to be a haul for whatever happens.
How many years he got this contract?
Maybe 2.
Because I know because if he's an expiring, it gets a little bit easier to sell if he's an expiring. Because then I can call Danny, because Danny don't care. He gonna get him off the books anyway. But if he's not an expiring, then it makes it a little bit more difficult because it's a couple of teams that we know that are in the market because they can't do it. They can't blatantly do it, but we know what they own. I'll even call probably San Antonio because San Antonio, got those guys that could fit with that Philly situation, and Pop could use Tobias in a way in which he can kind of rekindle his career as well. And there's some money over there that they could play with.
So now you don't get are they going to mortgage the young guys in San Antonio?
I don't think they're gonna mortgage all of them. I think they have more than enough to know who they're building around, and
because you got to get, if anybody, you're going to try to get Keldon.
I know. For a basketball standpoint, I would love Keldon on Philly.
You know what? Keldon with Philly,
I would love that. That's what I was thinking in my head as I was talking this out. That was, yeah.
Would you be okay with that, Trav? As a Spurs?
I wouldn't be okay with that. Not for the Spurs. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't take it if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, I wouldn't want Keldon.
Tobias got 2 years. Tobias got 2 years on his deal.
Okay. I understand what you mean as far as the contract deal. I'm looking at it from a player fit.
And you got Daniel House and you got Georges Niang. They have the pieces. I'm sorry. They have the pieces. There's nothing. I think they have one of the most complete rosters to go.
And which is why it goes back to what I first said. I think Doc don't have that locker room.
And it's crazy because I've tried not to. James Harden gets a lot of slack for good reason, and I've tried to not be a James Harden critic, but again, the way he plays don't fit with another great player.
Mm-hmm. It's time to say it, actually.
It doesn't. The way he wants to play and the way Daryl Morey's teams are set up, I don't think it fits with Joel. And I am not saying you trade Joel. I'm being very clear about that.
Hell,
this is going to fit. And I picked Philadelphia just at the start of the season, but the more I watch it, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of what they're doing. And I think Tobias Harris made somebody, I don't think so. We talk about we don't know where, but he may have to go.
We may know a guy.
Jay say it just may be a case where somebody has to go.
We may know a guy that know he a little bit draft capital. There's their word.
Shout out, man.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later on, though. We'll see what's going on.
Go ahead.
You gotta give me about 10 hours and a bottle of whiskey. I'll figure out something.
You figure it out. Now, I'm gonna tell you. I'm talking about this situation. A team that is Phoenix, right? Now, Phoenix. I'm gonna tell you what Phoenix is doing that I like. It's not always look great, but I like it. And I know there's two people on this show who are not fans of what I'm about to say. But from a basketball point of view, I like what they're doing. They have taken they've taken the offensive responsibility out of Chris Paul's hands.
Smart.
You mean don't like it? We love that. The hell.
So now he is really. We all talk about dudes playing like 1988 point guard or point. He is for real playing like dribble the ball up the middle of the court, hold up, play number 2, and run it.
Hey, it's a saying. Mid-90s. I think it was it's a guy. He said, "Man, we ain't trying to hear that whack shit, Sharif." And the thing about it is, we ain't trying to see all that dribbling, Chris.
Yeah.
We do not want to see you dribble the Spalding off the ball. Everybody talk about James Harden dribble 1,057 times. Okay. Well, what about Chris? What about Luka?
Oh yeah, we know Luka.
What about Kyrie? Like, let's be real. They start picking, like, no. That's why they like that's don't nobody want to see that whack plan, Chris.
And he
Wise man once said,
ain't nobody coming to
move the ball, pass it.
Yeah, the little bit I watched them, to be fair, they stopped doing that. They've gone to, which I love, they've thrown the ball to 8 in the post more than they did last year.
They paying them. They had no choice.
They're giving the ball to Bridges and Cameron Johnson on the move.
Yep.
So it's not Chris Paul, as much of Chris Paul, dribble, high pick and roll, etc. So they are doing some things a little bit different, but I was like, I watched him play the other night. I was like, this would be a perfect game for my man, Coach Letts. Well, this would be like the ultimate conundrum. Because Chris Paul is like for real playing a real 88 point guard. And I know my man Les loves pure point guard play. But it's a dude that he ain't that big a fan of. So it's kind of like, dang, he would like this. But it's somebody that he ain't a fan of that's doing it.
You know what, Big Shot? I think Phoenix got better today by subtracting. And they got rid of your boy.
Oh, they did?
Jay Crowder.
Did they trade him or he got waived?
He ain't there. He ain't. He was just in the way.
You know what though? He was.
He was in the way. He was in the way.
Consistently inconsistent.
Right. And MJ, you coach that you can't have disruptive people.
Especially a disruptive person that's not one of the mains. Kyrie disrupt whatever you want to. KD,
disruptive.
LeBron, do whatever.
This is not a fair game.
Not only that, and you keep a young fella from getting his minutes. You and Cameron Johnson way. You in the way.
You in the way? You in the way, dog.
Whatever you want to do. Take you, them sleeves, them tights, them elbow pads, the headband, the life alert bracelet.
That's why I said life alert bracelet.
Just go.
Not the life alert. He do have a lot.
He in the way, man.
The thing about it is, he's owed $10 million. He's owed $10 million, and he's a guy that's probably on his last, probably the last time he'll see 8 figures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He probably trying to figure out who he can finesse out of another 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's probably what he's trying to do. And Phoenix is like, we got Miguel and Cam.
No, sir.
It ain't gonna be. It ain't gonna be me.
Go to a young team or a young contender. Come off the bench. Be a bully. Be an enforcer. Do the Marquise and Marcus Morris role, but just not as good. You're just not that good. Do it.
There you go. Hey, MJ, it's set up perfectly. Go to Philly.
There you go.
Go to Philly.
Him.
Go to Philly. Set up perfect.
There it is. Sustain.
He'll
fit that culture too. Yeah.
This might be his
time.
Yeah, but he making 10. They like, okay, you don't want to be here. We pay you that money. It's fine. We know the owner got it. That was his fine. So
right.
Give you the $10. They give you the $10 one day. What's the wire transfer?
Right.
Take cash out, Zelle. Whatever. They just gonna pay him his bread and get on him about the business.
That's it.
Now, Trav, I want to bring Trav back in because we said we wasn't going to talk about one team, but there's another marquee team we're going to talk about, and the reason I'm calling on Trav is because I know he has an affinity for Kevin Durant. So this is what all I'm gonna say about Brooklyn, and this is something I've said for 3 years, maybe even 4. What Smokey said on Friday, maybe even 4. I don't care about Ben Simmons not having a jumper. I don't care. But if he is going to continue to be this passive, if he's going to continue to be this indecisive, if he's going to continue to not want to go to the basket because he doesn't want to get fouled, this is going to end the same way it did in Philadelphia. And there's not enough things that Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving can do to make up for the fact of that dude's passivity. Can't make up for it. I'm gonna get a Florida trash, but to me, fellas, you could tell me he's trying to get back in the shape, whatever. That doesn't fix that issue, which we have seen damn near since he was at LSU.
It's looking real Oklahoma City 2013 2.0.
2 and what?
2 and a possible.
2 and what?
2 and a possible. We don't know who's gonna show up. We don't know who's gonna show up. These folks darn near combined for 80 points the other night in Memphis. Kyrie and KD. Everybody else was probably in single digits. They got to find a way. Nash, it's something. Something is hindering them. Something is hindering them not. It's just not getting over their hump. It's something. It's something.
And I told y'all already. I'm not going to say it again. I've said this.
It's Nash. I just don't know. I mean, we know, but it's like,
oh, you know, that's it. That's all.
I mean,
no,
you know,
no.
You want to touch it. You want to touch it, but then you don't want to touch it. But it's like, but it's like, touch it. No, I don't want to touch it. Hey, bottom line, man, they got to get it right, man.
No,
Nash ain't it, man. Nash is not it.
I've said this.
Nash is not it.
I've said it privately. I've said it publicly, and I'm saying it again.
Nash ain't it.
If it walk like a duck, if it talk like a duck,
it's a duck.
And if I told you a duck could pull a truck, get Nash up out of there.
You know what's funny about this? You know what's funny about what Les said? Here's the funny thing about what Les said. KD pretty much said the same thing, and everybody chastised him for it. Like, you would want to kind of hear what your number one option, the guy that could possibly get you to the promised land, wants to say about what's going on in the locker room. You probably want to consider what he's talking about, because maybe he knows some things that you just don't know. And to be real, you have 3 guys who have very eccentric personalities in which they have clearly shown that, yes, they care about winning, but they care about other stuff too. You need a strong personality, but a relatable personality as your coach. Steve Nash is not that guy. They can't relate to Steve Nash. Hell, Kyrie doesn't even believe he should have got MVPs.
Hey, I don't believe that. I don't think
he said it,
but I think
he believed it. You gotta think him and Kobe.
He probably believed that, but he didn't say that to the man.
I think no.
He didn't walk in that.
They put extra on it too. He said it at his house.
Yeah, I'm like, Kyrie can't even go to nobody's house. Kyrie not vaccinated. Kyrie can't go nowhere.
Right.
But Nash probably isn't the answer. But what's the answer? But I don't know who you bring in that's gonna put the battery in Ben Simmons' back. No pun intended.
It's nobody you bring in. It's just a fresh voice. Like, how many times have we seen a team get rid of a coach that probably was even a coach of the year, or we thought, hey, this coach is pretty good. Why did they get rid of him? But that fresh voice, they took another step. How many times everybody has said Mark Jackson shouldn't have got fired? Look what happened when they fired him.
I have an idea.
Oh, here you go. What you cooking?
I think the next coach of the Brooklyn Nets could be and should be Ime Udoka.
That would be so, yeah, he'll get him that.
Oh, man.
He'll get him that. So if that happens, front office, you keep your wife at home.
We're not going to be here long. We're not going to be here long. We're not going to be here long.
They have to be said, bro. They have to be.
Y'all are what?
I say this because I say this for two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
He commands the respect of his.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no doubt, right? And he built a very strong relationship with them guys. He built a very strong relationship with them guys when he was an assistant. You gotta remember, he was an assistant in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He sure was.
So, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It could. I think you're both. I think all of you are right. I think Nash ain't there. I think it's in the boys. I just look at that team and I'm like, Durant and Kyrie gonna have to be they're gonna have to do what Kyrie and LeBron did in 2016, 75 more times.
Quite frankly, this is what they signed up for,
though. That's a whole bigger picture. If I tell you what, MJ, save that thought for about 6 months from now.
Okay.
This goes bad. That's gonna be the show. That's gonna be the show. Yeah. You too.
Both of y'all left the perfect situation for you.
Bro. Kevin Durant will never play in a better basketball situation in his ever.
Golden State.
I blame the people.
Yeah.
The people. I blame the people.
The people drove him up out of there.
And I remember saying this in 94, almost like a year ago, right? We got greats. We have greats. Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, that have never won a Reggie Miller that we just talked about.
Yep.
That have never accomplished a team goal. Carmelo Anthony. We're talking legitimate guys, like top 75 cemented, that have never won a championship, a team accolade, and they get joked about, they get talked about. He ain't got no rings. Melo, I called Melo, it didn't pick up. It just, he picked up and the phone didn't ring. All that kind of BS, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant was starting to get that heat. So he's like, okay, well, y'all say I'm not this, so I'm gonna go play with Golden State and da-da-da-da. Just like y'all did LeBron. Y'all did LeBron the same way. Y'all, LeBron got to the furthest, most southern place in America.
Dade County.
Literally.
Okay, he went south, he went to the bottom of the map to go get one, go get two, so he could feel validated.
Peer pressure.
And then when those guys do that, now it's, he had to join with and and he had this teammate. It's like, yo, it's really like, yo.
It's It's what we said in the group.
You
want? What do you want?
You have to win, but we get to dictate how you win.
No. Great man once said, and I have a lot of quotes.
That's good.
From a lot of
great coaches have great quotes.
Great quotes. It was a man. It's a mid 1990s quote, and it was the movie Dead Presidents, and I don't remember Chris Tucker's character's name, but he said, "If I was what every wanted me to be, I'd be confused."
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, LeBron, KD, they were trying to be what people wanted them to be. And I think a lot of it, I think the quote is true, they became confused.
Because
LeBron is just now saying like, the hell, bro, you know when you could have said the hell with y'all, LeBron? 2003.
Yeah.
Sacramento and had 25 and 9 at 18 years old in your first.
Ben said it. Supposed Ben said it.
You know when you could have said the hell with him, LeBron? 2007. When you took me, Trav, MJ, and Ronnie to the finals. You know when you could have said it, Bron? When you poured everything that you had into that last game in Cleveland the first time around in 2010 against the Celtics. Could have said it then.
Yeah.
But you had to get validated by them people and get confused on who you were. KD, same thing.
Yep.
And if you look at those situations, Les, that we talked about, it's never been, if you look at LeBron right now, yes, he got the one chip in Cleveland. He got the one chip in the bubble in LA. It's never been as good as it was those years in Miami, and he probably should have stayed. And if he was gonna leave Miami in 2014, you know where he should have went?
Chicago.
He should have went to Chicago, or he should have went to LA then, rather than go when he went. Because if he goes to LA in 14, it's you and Kobe.
And now
the irony of all of this.
Now the passing of the torch can happen.
You could have really done the smooth transition in 14 rather than go back home, because as Les just talked about, you let these people guilt trip you into leaving Cleveland the first time.
You know the irony of all of it. The people that guilt trip him are the people that was gonna hate him anyway.
Hate him anyway. Dude.
Thank you.
And back in 2003, 2004, Allen Iverson.
He said it.
He told him. He said it.
Yeah.
I remember.
He told him. He said, them same people that's building you up gonna be the same people that try to build you, bring you down.
When you're not the LeBron they want you to be.
Yeah.
And speaking of, we talk about all this, but meanwhile, the thing that is the most consistent thing in the NBA is in the Bay Area. And again, it's early, but averaging 33 points a game at 33 years old. We talk about, we have fun with our man Mo Schefter about Tom Brady being old and playing till 45 and et cetera. And we talk about LeBron. When is LeBron going to fall off? I don't know when Steph going to fall off.
He shouldn't come off.
I don't know when that's going to happen.
He's shooting the cover off that rock.
Hey, the reason why he's not going to fall off is a twofold thing that's going on. First things first, his game is built on a skill to actually get better with age. And secondly, he is at a team that knows how to properly build around him so he can age gracefully.
Yep.
All that shit y'all said about LeBron had to make that move because Cleveland knew that they was going to sell out as long as LeBron was there. So there was really Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders in. Mm-hmm. If that's even a verb. It's not even a verb. I made it a verb. We don't sell out anyway, so why we don't give him well with what he needs? And then we got to pay these people when we win a title to keep this dynasty. That's actually more money that we got to pay. And LeBron making that move caused the lockout so that they can renegotiate this and turn it to what it is. So with that, what Golden State has done, Golden State has showed the league, as long as you're building it the correct way, you got to pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
We had 1 year where we was under the tax. That was because we overachieved. And people didn't know what we were. Steve Kerr was the last piece of the puzzle. Then we got to rolling. We won one. And then everybody was like, it's a fluke, whatever. And then they won 73-9. Then once they brought KD in, everybody like, holy shit. After that, they commenced to paying that whole core. No matter what the situation was, they paid their people. And it's still continuing. Yeah, they could have replaced Andrew Wiggins with Kuminga and just dealt with the growth. They didn't. They stayed loyal to Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, they could have let Jordan Poole go and possibly, find another plug-in Poole guy. They paid him because they understand it's the continuity.
And the cool part about this, as much as we joke about this, Trav, jump in. That fight extends the dynasty 3 more years.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of the league saw that fight. They see where Draymond is. That max deal's off the table. So what's going to happen this summer? Draymond can opt out. Opt out of your $25 million. Go ahead. They going to get Draymond back for 3 for about 60. It's going to be about 60 for 3. They going to be under. And we're going to get somebody, and we're going to get some more role. We're going to get some more role players. And this thing just keeps rolling and rolling.
They just don't miss. They just don't miss.
They're going to fuck around and end up with Grant Williams to replace Draymond Green. Because he do the same thing.
Somebody gonna complain. Though the Silver, they gonna have to change the rule. They're gonna change something. Watch.
I'm telling you, when he punched Jordan Poole, I was like, "Yep,
that has solidified his money.
There goes your max deal. There goes Jordan money, and you coming back for less than what you think."
And for all of y'all who are thinking that he did that because he's trying to go to the Lakers because he want to go to the Lakers and LeBron want him, how is that going to help the Lakers? Getting another dude who can't shoot. How is that?
No, don't go. No, leave it alone.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
Hey, I'm gonna say this about the Lakers.
Let's want to go though. Can we let Lester say something, please?
I'm gonna let Lester go, but let me say this. I'm gonna say this about that team myself was not gonna talk about. And I feel sorry. I hope my man Les ain't watching them because I know he is a connoisseur of guard play. That is, without question, this is not me being a troll. This is not me trying to put sauce on anything. That is the worst combination of guard play in this league.
Yep.
You cannot find another team with 4 worse guards than them.
No.
Westbrook, Beverly, I know Kendrick Nunn is from the crib. Shout out to him. Austin Reeves, Dennis, that 5 guards are the worst put together backcourt in this NBA. And find me another backcourt that's put together that's worse.
They're like a bunch of food that don't make a good meal.
Canned corn.
It's literally like mac and cheese, spaghetti, just the noodles though.
Candy bars.
Like mac and cheese, spaghetti, fruit snacks,
cereal.
It's just like a bunch of, it's like a plate of bullshit. Like it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. There is no way. You got basketball Freddie Gibbs. Like, that's Patrick Beverly, by the way.
Oh, I already know.
You got basketball Freddie Gibbs. You got Russell Westbrook. And I meant to say this when we were talking about KD. KD was never going to win with Russell Westbrook. And I've said this repeatedly. Like, I've been saying it for the longest time. I think I've been saying it since you guys have known me.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like, I'm sorry. Individual talent is there. He's not a winning basketball player. He's not. He went to go win. How you gonna help somebody win when you don't know how to win?
Talk that, Lauryn Hill.
And the thing about it is, and the thing about it too is, Anthony Davis was almost considered a guy that don't want to win, but we know that's false from his college year in college, and the fact that the Pelicans were relevant while he was there. Yep. He just had a tough time playing through stuff. And I think him going to play with LeBron, like, made him that bubble year, that bubble championship. Come on, AD. I know. Come on. I think LeBron pushed him through it. And I think after that, I got one. All right, we cool. Go ahead, be hurt, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I think he kind of like that shit. I won one. I did it. Like, I won now. Like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just one of those deals. And like, I think Coach Ham. And this is, I tell you this, Coach Coach Darvin Ham, he better have a job for the next few years as the Los Angeles Lakers head coach, because the roster they gave that man, it's unfair. It is unfair. It's not right. It is not right. And the fact that Rob Pelinka got extended is a shame, and it's a slap in the face to Darvin Ham, to LeBron James, because those are the two most important people in the Lakers organization right now, as far as that team is concerned.
They didn't have a plan to get out from under Westbrook, and they brought in two of his biggest rivals purposely. That's like me picking out. That's like me going to Trav's neighborhood in Olive Branch and finding the two people he don't get along with, and I'm gonna bring them on the show purposely.
That's true.
You know, Westbrook, for all his flaws that Les has talked about, he doesn't get along with Pat Beverly or Dennis Schroeder, for real. Does not. And you bring them both in. Like, Westbrook
and at the very least, if these guards were like game-changing guards or all-star guards, it will.
Thank you.
They ain't nothing like that.
Right. You ain't bringing in prime Rondo and you know what I'm saying? You ain't bringing in that.
You're better than them. You're better than them two combined.
For all of his flaws, Trav, say that again. For all his
better than those two combined.
He's better, but he ain't gonna win.
Right, he's not gonna win. But why would you bring in two dudes that he doesn't get along with to upset him, and you have no plan to get him out of there? All you've done is made a bad situation worse. That's all you did. You didn't do anything to make your team better by that.
And that's why he ain't gonna make it.
And that's why he ain't gonna make it, as Jake said. But again, so we're gonna wrap this up, fellas. You know, this is our fun conversation, and we just freestyle. I think we covered just about everything in the league.
Yeah.
We covered what we needed to cover.
Right.
Remember, 94 Feet Alive Facebook group, Seen as the Family. Subscribe to the YouTube, notifications on. Next week again, college preview. The governor will be here. He gonna tell us about why. Because I can't wait for G2 to come on, so he can convince us that Houston Cougars are going. Because he love Houston Cougars. So I'm gonna see if he gonna
Arkansas,
Purdue,
and
Arkansas and Purdue.
Love your spouse the way G2 loves Houston and Arkansas. That's my shout out to Tudo. Ham, hopefully enjoying us back next week. Take care of some family stuff. MJ, Coach Les, my main man, Brad, 94 Feet of Life, basketball for the people.